Hey everybody, Michael Soothing here. Thought I would try something completely different. I had a subby request for this, which was do drawing or coloring or whatever. And somebody gave me this whole thing for free. They had gotten it as a gift, but they didn't have the time and too many other projects. So I didn't have to buy anything. And it's twistable crayons. I guess you just twist the end and it comes out or something. And also these colored, pre-sharpened colored pencils. It says bright, bold colors. And then they got this book with elaborate coloring pictures in it. Be Still and Know That I Am God book. So it's a Christian theme, coloring therapy. This is sort of a new trend. Coloring therapy with scripture verses from the Psalms. So I found one since I'm really into marine biology, ocean stuff, the sea, and all that kind of thing. And I'm not going to try to color this whole thing while we're doing this, but I thought I would at least start on it. I have not colored since I was a young child, so I don't know what we'll talk about while we're doing it, but I don't think we have to talk about anything in particular, you know? And that was the request, that we do something like this. So I think what I'll do is, should I dump all these out? I don't know. I think I have to, right? Because I can't see what the colors are if I don't dump them out. We'll take all those out. And this is just going to be like a starting exercise. And then some other day, I'll do a long one. I don't think I'll try to do these realistically this first time. Just see what we can do. Let's try these twistable ones first. Let's try doing some of these seashells a little bit. I'm wondering what it would be like to do the outer sections here like this. Now that doesn't look the same on the page. It looks orange in the thing here, but it's more yellow on the page, isn't it? I'm thinking of doing every other band, you know, like this color. It's a little hard with the shadow from the light, but we'll give it a try. Have you ever collected seashells? There's a tongue twister called, you know, Susan does something seashells by the seashore or something. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but yeah, that makes a pretty nice bold color right there. But I'm wondering if I should try the colored pencils a little bit. So now let's go with the banded orange here and see how that does. Yeah, I kind of like that. It looks a little bit like an orange and lemon candy lollipop or something. I can see where this would be kind of a relaxing thing to do. I had a seashell collection once upon a time, but I don't know what happened to them all. I have a few of them, but it seems like most of them are gone. I particularly like, I don't know about you, but I particularly like abalone shells. You know, I can see where this would be, you could create some very pleasing effects by doing all this, but on the tight little ones down here, I guess these don't need caps or anything on them apparently. They're like Crayolas, but they work a little easier and better. They don't smear all over the place. Let's see what we can do with the colored pencils for the finer lines down here. I think we can, yeah, that'll work. So we can do an every other band thing with this guy here. And it's almost the same color that I was using. So that seems to be a pretty good strategy right there. Let's see if this yellow one replicates. It's probably closer to this color, huh? Replicates what we were doing further up. It's close enough. Yeah, we're not going to win any art awards with this, you know. Do you remember those paint by numbers things? And people would be so proud of what they did. But it doesn't seem to me like that's really art when you do paint by numbers. This is a little bit like that. It's more for relaxation than it is to try to be creative, in my personal opinion. But that's just one guy's opinion. What shall we do to fill in this seashell? I think we need kind of a pink or beige or something to be in here, right? We'll just do that a little bit, like that. And we got one seashell done. How about the seahorse? I don't have the slightest recollection what seahorse colors look like. So maybe before I do that, I'll do some coral. What do you think? So we'll call this a coral branch, and we'll use pink on it. And typically, what would coral have on the colors of the little nodules? I'm not quite sure. White wouldn't show up very good, so we don't have to pick a realistic color for it, though. Why don't we pick something like, corals are all different kinds of colors. I think we can use sort of a purple for that, for all the little nodules on it. I remember when I was in Hawaii, we did some snorkeling and saw a whole lot of coral of all different colors. Some pieces wash up on the shore, and they say that if you take a piece home with you, then the Hawaiian Islands will curse you with bad luck, the goddess Pele or something, of the volcanic, and then you'll have terrible bad luck unless you return the coral piece to the Hawaiian Islands. I can't remember if I brought any home, but I think it's a mistake to collect a lot of stuff from a place like that and bring it home. But I can tell you one thing about the coral. Don't let yourself get cut on it, because it will do terrible things to you. When I was snorkeling, I got cut on the coral on my leg, and I had an infection that lasted for months, I think. Oh, it was nasty. I was so sick, because there's some really bad toxins in that stuff. Let's see, if we have a scallop type shell, we can go with some intermediate colors in here. There's quite a few of these kinds of shells that you can collect along the coast of California and Oregon, Washington. But you don't see, and you can get spirals like this. They're mostly a light, sort of a white color, the spirals. Let's see what we want for that scallop type shell. I think we'll go with a very light application here of this one. You know, I think we should be using one of these twistable guys. Let's try this one, huh? And see how that works. Yeah, I think that effect will work fine. Yeah, this is relaxing. And just talking to everybody is relaxing as well. I want to someday make scenes like a painting where I put actual bits of collected sea items on the painting itself. There's a word for that, but I don't recall what the word is. But I think you know what I'm talking about. I don't see that much, and it's something I'd like to do. I'm not going to try to be realistic with all of these colors. How about a fish? Yeah, I think I'll do one of those. I wish I knew how to do a good metallic color on a bluegill, like what you see on a bluegill, but we don't have metallic. I'd have to get better markers for that. Let's go with a purple and a blue and an orange for the fins, maybe a little yellow, and starry flounders. Well, we don't have a flounder here. Starry flounders have kind of brown and yellow alternating stripes on their fins. So maybe we'll do something kind of like that. I got outside the lines a little bit. I hope no one will object and report me to the relaxation coloring police, because that would be such a drag. You know, it makes kind of a nice relaxing sound if you listen closely here. If I can shut up long enough for you to hear it. My voice is getting a little sore. Anyway. Alright. Yeah, with a starry flounder you would have kind of a yellow orange. A little darker shade than this, but it'll have to do. We'll call this impressionistic. An impressionistic starry flounder fin arrangement here. And then we'll move on. And they're sort of a yellowish orange, but this will have to do. Okay, so that's good for that. What color do we want to make his body? Let's do the gill in like a dark blue gill. I think here, actually that should have been red. Gills are usually a bright red, aren't they? Can we improvise here? I wonder if we can. It's too late. I'll have to do that with a different fish. We'll just put a reddish thing around it for a little effect. The eye. Fish sometimes have an opaline sort of eye. Not always. There's all different schemes, color schemes on fish. We'll do two-tone. We'll do one color blue there and another color blue up here. It almost looks the same, doesn't it? That guy has a big eye like a walleye perch. Then I think what we should do is make all of the scales one color and then make the body a different color. Don't you think that would be a good approach. Maybe we could make the body a gray. We can make the skin, well, they should be close in color, but not exact. We'll make the body this light green at the top, fading to, say, more of a yellowish at the bottom. And then we'll make all the scales more of a darker turquoise green. Actually, the more I think about it, if you don't mind me changing my mind a lot, let's go with a dark purple to a lighter purple as we go down the body to a more sort of plain silver at the bottom, but we'll make the scales a darker green. So we'll start with those, okay? Those scales. And then we'll work on the body shading of this guy and see if we can't come up with some kind of a semi-pleasing color scheme overall. I hope he doesn't look like he's got a disease or something when we're done. But if he does, we can move on to a different fish, you know, and fix it. All right, let's see here. So we'll start with a real dark purple at the top, or a somewhat darkish purple at the top. We'll go right over the scales to blend it in, right? Yeah, that's coming out different than what it looks like on the. I think his lips need to be kind of. We don't want it to look like lipstick. That would be a little odd. But I think we need a little definition up there, don't you? Let's put a little definition, a little darkening. We'll call him a reef fish, and they always have kind of a parrot beak sort of lips. So we'll do that. Is this a darker shade? No. So we'll go with this next. We'll blend this in a little bit. Yeah. He's some kind of a reef fish. And then we'll go with next. Let's see, we did those already. Maybe fade down to kind of an orange tint, which we already have on his fins. Not too much. A real light. We'll fade to a real light shade. And then we will go to sort of just a gray underneath, so that the predators underneath him won't notice him against the sky so much. What do you think? I think that he's a pretty good looking fish overall, considering I have not colored since I was, 6 years old or something. Let's do one more thing before we stop for today. How about this piece of plant here? Can we do that? Let's do the plant. I think I need to use the finer. We'll use the pencil instead of the coloring color. So we're going to have to get in the lines. Those who get outside the lines, are going to be too rebellious, and so really I should be scribbling all over this paper, because I was not a very compliant, obedient student or child. I was a little bit on the independent side, doing my own thing. I remember in my high school job, when I worked, I won't say the place anyway, I had some run-ins with the adults because, as a teenager, they didn't like my attitude. And later, when I was a manager myself, I said to myself, I hope I don't have to have people like me working for me, because I wouldn't much appreciate their attitude. Let's see here. We can use, I said I was going to stop there because we're about 20 minutes in. But you know, I'm just having too much fun and too much relaxing enjoyment, so I'm going to have to keep going just a little longer. This makes me want to get some iridescent, metallic, colored pencils, or whatever that you would call them these days, to do this with, because then you can do some pretty exotic things with them, which I'm not going to be able to do with these. But I have to go down to a whisper because my voice is getting shot here. And so I hope you don't mind. I'll just whisper. We're going to try to make this into some kind of kelp type object. An underwater kelp plant. What is the show my kids used to watch that they loved so much? My daughters in particular. The boys were a little too old by then. Yeah, it was the daughters. The underwater show on Nickelodeon. I know many of you know it right now. It's still on, I think. And it's on the tip of my tongue, and you're all trying to reach through the camera and YouTube right now to tell me what it is, because my memory for names is so bad. I remember SpongeBob SquarePants. Yeah, Squidward and SpongeBob. We'll make an environment for them to hang out in, right? And SpongeBob can have a Krabby Patty Burger at the Krusty Krab delicatessen. And who is the guy that runs that place? It's like a crab guy, right? Well, I think I'm going to enjoy finishing this up on a different day. But you can see, it's kind of fun. You get nice coloration effects. And since people are starting to talk loud on their cell phones outside again, I'm going to wrap this up. Until next time, don't ASMR and drive. Bye-bye, everybody.